Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Nioh 2 on the Mysterious JG. So, I just got done doing like a 10-minute intro to this video, and after that was done, I realized, oh, I need to do something at the Hidden Tea House. And what I literally just did was delete that. It was like 9 minutes, but it's this whole long intro, because I realized after I'd talked for like 9 minutes over just the menu screens, or the, that I had then vamped through all this nonsense I wanted to vamp about, and only then was getting to the ludicrous load time for the Hidden Tea House. So what I'm going to do now we're getting ready to go to the Hidden Tea House. I've actually already clicked Hidden Tea House, and I've already spent about 2 minutes staring at these loading screens. But I'm going to go ahead now and vamp about nonsense that I wanted to vamp about anyway. I'll try to keep it a little bit briefer. What I opened my now lost to the ages Nioh video talking about was something that I'm like really excited about, and it's something that actually this is not what I'm excited about. So my favorite ramen restaurant seems to have closed down for COVID, and I've become really addicted to ramen. I don't consider myself a Japophile, or I think the term might be weebo, and when I say I think the term might be, I literally am not 100% positive sure that's the right term. I'm not pretending not to know in order to avoid looking like a weebo. I think it's weebo. I don't consider myself one. There's lots of Japanese culture stuff I don't care for. I mean, people fall over themselves to praise anime, and I'm like, guys, it's not fucking Shakespeare. Even when it is, I might take it more seriously if, like, you didn't have as many panty shots. But there are a lot of things about Japan that I like. I sure do, buddy. I'm about to tell one of them right now. So let's receive past rewards. We might not be getting any glory out of any of this, but it does take a minute to check these things. But one thing I do love from Japan is ramen. And there was a girl in New York City. She called herself the Human Trampoline. Sorry. There's a girl in New York City who actually introduced me to good ramen. I, like a lot of people, thought of ramen as like this ultra cheap thing that you could do if you had like no money. It was like the cheapest possible meal you could order, instant ramen. I never really ate instant ramen. That's what I read. In my mind, it was like, oh, ramen, that's the super cheap stuff. People just add water. You do that if you have like no money. You're in college, you're working 2 jobs, barely able to pay your tuition, you eat ramen. But I was introduced to good ramen by a girl in New York. And in New York City, like, all food is more expensive than it would be anywhere else in the world because it's New York City. But you can go to, and even an upscale restaurant in New York City is going to be tiny and not necessarily look like a fancy upscale dining space in any other city where you can afford to actually buy enough land or have a big enough building to actually have opulent dining space. Like, even a fancy upscale restaurant in New York might be crowding people in like sardines. But the places that really crowd people in like sardines are usually like the mid-scale restaurants. And I went to a mid-scale. They crowd you in like a sardine restaurant. See, I'm not getting glory out of this anymore. It used to be if you just contributed occasionally, you would get a little bit out of this clan battle system. I don't really have anything to donate either. But the reason I came here was to... I don't want to accidentally back all the way out of this menu. I guess I accidentally backed all the way out of here. Oh, I'm an idiot. You don't even do what I wanted to do at the heat. You buy these at the tea house. You apply them at the hut. Never mind. Well, I should have kept my stupid intro. But anyway, God, let me get back to my stupid intro. But yeah, if you go to a real restaurant, a real ramen restaurant, ramen's actually good. Like, there's lots of different flavors of broths, including really spicy ones that I love. They put all sorts of different ingredients in there, including like actual fresh veggies that are tasty, and like a decent actual quantity of meat, like the thin sliced fatty pork in ramen with like good tasting bits of veg and noodle, and then like the hard boiled egg and cut that in half and stick it in there. It's really good. And the ramen place that I was going to closed down. What I was going to do with the changing of just because I purchased this off screen and I don't think we've ever used it on screen yet, I was going to just play through a level as a Cootie for the hell of it. Just for variety's sake. And that's why I went to the Hidden Tea House, because I thought, and I think it might have worked this way in the previous game, you go to the Hidden Tea House in the original Nioh to apply transformations, and in this game you do not need to go to the Hidden Tea House, which is great because the Hidden Tea House takes a million years to load. So anyway, I like ramen, and there was a ramen place, and it was about 15-20 minutes away on a day with no traffic. Because I used to go there I had my work. I would be at different offices on different days of the week supporting different programs. And when I was at a certain office, I could actually swing by that ramen place on the way home. And I had to have dinner a little bit early then, but I would get this really tasty ramen. It was expensive, but it was actually really good. Because, like, you know, a good ramen place in New York is a mid-scale restaurant. And anywhere else, or like, you know, for me, in kind of the suburbs outside of a big city, which doesn't have a huge Asian population, like a ramen restaurant is going to be an upscale, fancy place. Like, their website makes it look like it's this elegant dining experience. They're selling you on the idea of this exotic food. You would take a girl there to impress her, not... It's like the opposite of what you think of as ramen, with just, it's the super cheap option. So that place closed down, and it sucked. It closed down because of COVID, which means timing-wise in my life, all these things are going wrong. I've just been diagnosed with cancer. I'm starting my chemo. The first couple of cycles, I went to the ramen place on the way back. Like, I would go to the infusion center, spend all morning getting filled with drugs, and come out with this infusion pump where I was going to spend the next 46 hours having a slow infusion of another drug. I would go to the ramen place on my way back and get, like, a double serving of ramen, and maybe like order like something on the side that I would eat as a very light dinner later, because I would have this huge food coma inducing amount of ramen for lunch, and that was like a comfort relief in a terrible situation. And even before that, if I went like 2 weeks without ever going to the office where I would have a chance to get ramen on the way home, Sunday afternoon it actually became a regular thing. Sundays was my ramen day, and I would drive over there. I would call in an order as soon as they opened, drive over there. It would take me 15 or 20 minutes to get there. I might even, I would have a something to listen to in the car, like an album that I hadn't heard in a while, or like a podcast I was looking forward to. Maybe even do a little grocery shopping in that part of town while I was there, blah, blah, blah. But it would take like driving there, driving back, picking it up. I would dedicate like an hour of my Sunday just to getting my hands on this ramen, and it would totally be worth it when I got back. You know, because people like to go for Sunday drives. There's no traffic. Best day of the week to go out and have a little drive. And I was even had a route to get there that was like driving through neighborhoods and not on a highway. It was great. But then it went away. The happy part about this big long intro is that now I found a new ramen place online. I'm going to try it out today. The problem is, and I have to call them, their website says they're open, but then again, the website of my place I used to go to has also not been updated, so I might be all excited about something that turns out to be a big disappointment and it doesn't even open. The problem is this. I found out about this place through an online ad. Almost every morning when I get up, I check CNN.com and FoxNews.com, both. Because I don't fully trust either website. I trust CNN 100 times farther than I trust Fox, but CNN still, it's like their tendency to make every story somehow something that the Republicans did is bad. Like, a child got hit by a car. Reports have it that Trump has not expressed his condolences. How evil is this man? Like, anything per CNN, they'll usually talk about why it's not Trump's fault, when in fact Trump is only responsible for about 80% of what's wrong. I'm kidding, of course. But no, I'll check CNN and Fox both. The point I'm trying to get at is that, like, there's such a completely echo chamber news thing going on right now, where people go to websites that feed them what they want to hear rather than the news. So I'll check both because I'm curious to find out what are people actually being told is happening in the world right now. And Fox News it's pretty horrible. Like, it's shocking the kinds of world events that they will completely ignore if it's not part of their narrative. Like, the COVID, like $1 trillion COVID relief bill passed, and I checked their website. It was like not even mentioned on the front page of their news website because there was no interesting positive spin they could put on it for Trump or no negative spin they could put on it for Biden. They talk a lot about, this week they're talking about CPAC, mostly because they have, I think, a paid subscription service where you can get access to streaming of CPAC. So that's pretty oily. But my point I'm getting at is that I found out about this ramen place because it was a banner ad on foxnews.com. So now I'm like, ooh, I've really been looking for a ramen place. Can I frequent this place? Did they just pay an ad firm and they're not really making conscious decisions about this? I mean, they're not really supporting Fox News directly, are they? Because it's one of those ad choice ads. Like, you'll see that little ad choice logo in the top corner. I'm like, I don't know exactly how those work, except that I think it gets into your Google algorithms. They figure out where you are physically located and advertise businesses that you're actually in your area. And I'm sure I did a Google search for ramen like within the last couple of months. So it's like, I don't know if they're really a Fox ramen place. And if they are like they some kind of Trumpian ramen? Does this ramen, like, spread false narratives about the election? Is this ramen playing to white people's fears about long-term demographic shifts where white people will one day only be 49% of the population in America? Is this like, you know, white power ramen? And then the answer is white power and ramen don't really go together. So maybe I'm worried about nothing. However, I have like eaten up half of the video with this nonsense, so let's do something. We got our next main mission, and we got a couple of side missions we could do. So let's just jump. Oh, actually, we're almost out of side missions. That's good. I want to get to a real mission, but having blathered like an idiot about ramen for so long, a side mission might be just the ticket. So let's do abduction. Oh, that's a book of reincarnation.
I'm hearing stories of more and more people going missing around Ishiyama Honganji. At first I imagined they had been kidnapped, and sadly that is hardly uncommon these days, but it seems only children are going missing. I have a feeling something else may be going on. In any case, I think it warrants a look, don't you?
Well, I haven't cleared it. Doesn't look like there's any locks or Kadama to be found. It'll be that... I'm thinking if it's Honganji, it'll be that same... Oh, no, it won't. It's Honganji. I was thinking of Honoji. Yeah, like I said, totally not a weebo. Spent 15 minutes talking about ramen, but I'm totally not a weebo. Don't even know the difference between Honganji and Honoji. What of a group. Sorry. Alright. So let's try to get something out of this video where I spent so much nonsense time. Worrying about white power ramen. Now, having finished Assassin's Creed, I really wish there was some kind of berserk dart where I could make these monsters turn on each other. This might have been exactly the wrong strategy, because that thing's going to turn into a big Cyclops while I'm fighting the little guys, isn't it? Oh, maybe not. And even if it did, I think it lost most of its health. Okay, it didn't turn big yet. Oh, but it didn't catch on fire this time. I think it has to hit you a certain number of times before it can do that. Okay, I was wondering who was doing the ranged attacks. Well, that guy's... Whoa, I got blowed up there. What happened? I think I got hit by a rock, which broke my guard just as that fireball was coming. I want to get to that stupid lantern. Who did I alert? The lantern has to be approached from this direction. That was an odd move. See, even... Like, what the hell was happening there? Even when I was trying to attack it, I was taking weird hits. Okay. Okay, so one thing that's happening here is that there's a little one of these sliding around dirt, scuzzy, whatever junk guys. Okay, I need to get a couple things going here because this is really getting on my nerves. I've been trying really hard not to notify this one enemy about my presence, which is like not even remotely the problem. You get rid of this damn thing so these guys don't spawn forever. Then take them out. It's like a huge collection of enemies that are individually not even slightly threatening. Although actually the little floating spirit heads have a different attack pattern in this game. I am not good at fighting them. Man, I'm going through a lot of grief here. And that guy's still out there throwing rocks. Ah! Or bombs. He's Babombo! That's why I was actually getting blown up by what I thought was just a frickin' rock. That guy's Babombo. Oh, good grief. Okay. So that took more doing than I would have expected and might indicate that this is a short level with a lot of combat concentrated at the beginning, or it might indicate that I did a really inefficient job of taking care of something that wasn't meant to be that bad. But I got a Jikyu Mitsudara. And this thing, which I guess seemed like it could have been avoided, but also seemed like it was kind of important. At least it had a lot of guys centered on it. Poison on Mari. Okay, not really specifically important at all. Oh, I remember this level, and I remember this chunk of the level being kind of challenging. Like, they really hid quite a few nasty enemies in this garden. Although they were generally doing a small number of more powerful enemies. This is like just a big concentration of weak enemies, making it really hard to only fight one or two at a time. Oh, I can tell by looking. This thing is going to be spawning enemies. Okay, perfect. I can't believe I got hit by that guy, but it was almost out of key. I guess it's not that shocking, but yeah, it was like really handy to actually get fire elemental while fighting the little goopy guy. I'm not getting any elixirs. Fire starter hood, bedrock blaster. I guess I don't have a wasn't there another soul core? Did I miss a soul core over here? I thought like a couple of enemies over here dropped soul cores. good thing I'm not in that Gyokai zone. That guy would have had the power to automatically paralysis puke when out of key. No, it wasn't a soul core. It was a defiled grave or whatever they're called. Bloody grave, yeah. Well, all my fancy things I took to be more powerful have worn off, so let's at least get the get out of jail free card before I fight whatever this is. Oh, you probably weren't even worth it. I have not found these guys to be too bad, although as I say that, he almost got me with that attack, because I guess I just depleted his ki in exactly the right time, because I wasn't in a good position to block, and I've never bothered to get good at that counter that uses Animus, or Anima, whatever it's called. I got a soul core, and he was guarding a single treasure chest, which has 4 Great Commander's Helmet, Kohoku Master's Cuirass, Jonin Split Staff, Kohoku Master Gauntlet. I don't remember what set Kohoku Master is. By the way, we're wearing the Flying Keto set, despite our appearance as Okuni. We're actually cosplaying as the Flying Keto. Kohoku Master is, I think that's the Nagamasa set. Yeah. Is it? No, wait. Yeah, it is. Nagamasa Sai. And it gives you dodge key consumption reduction, which is actually really nice. Amrita gauge bonus damage. Amrita anima charge. Amrita gauge charge. I mean, it gives you some various charges I don't care about. Dodge key consumption is nice, though. Because I almost never just block. I almost always try to dodge. 20% is a pretty decent reduction, too. Okay, well, thanks for dropping treasure out of bounds, asshole. I didn't think this game let that happen. That was a huge... I remember in Dynasty Warriors 5, that was massive. Every time you fought an enemy near one of the enemy spawning gates, like, you'd get all these sweet power-ups you wanted, but all appear outside of the area you were allowed to get to. So we haven't quite cleared this garden yet. There could be more stuff. There's always one of you. Possibly the overpowered split staff, which I've grown so dependent on, which makes these guys kind of not that big a deal, but I think they're meant to be a real pain in the ass. Because they've got a lot of special fancy magic attacks that the split staffs tends to deplete their ki, so they can't do them properly. Or so that you can break them up easily. Then again, I mean, you can win the game by being proficient with any of the weapons, because any of the weapons, with properly timed dodges, you can, you know. But yeah, I do find, for somebody who just likes to concentrate on avoiding attacks and falling back on the same button smashy move, split staff is kind of custom made. I must have Amrita boost equipped, because I'm not getting elixir drops at all. Oh, I have a feeling that this... Oh, crap. Okay. Yeah, so from the fact that the exits were all closed off, I was thinking, oh, this must be the end of the level. So maybe I want to go back and reset some of my stuff. Yeah, I should have... kind of surprised that, yeah, this is going to be the theme of the level. Lots of fairly unthreatening guys. Although now I've got a problem where I've used up all my best stuff, thinking I would get another chance to equip some of this stuff. Finally got somebody to drop an elixir. And they're not really playing the "you are in danger" music yet, which means I'm probably jumping the gun getting all these equipped, but the get out of jail free one is a timing one. It'll stick around for a while. If you're the best this level has, I should be okay. This might be perfect. I'm going to get a complete video out of talking about ramen and beating this level. Somebody else is still out there throwing bombs. And I feel like those other lanterns are going to come into it at some point. Like, they'll either turn into those flamey guys or they'll start producing monsters. So who is kidnapping children? I have not yet established that. Oh. Level's not over. It's a midway point. Okay. That seems fair. That is the end of the level. Wouldn't mind a little chance to top off my special powers of not dying if I die, you know. So the question becomes, if I go back here to the beginning, do I have to reset? Do I have to redo everything? This door will be open. Can I sprint past those enemies and get to that zone? Is that going to be considered cleared? I think so. I would hope so. Otherwise, I'm making myself do this twice, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, you know, you get Amrita, you try to level up. Okay, good. This place basically resets completely. Although the doors aren't open anymore. Never mind. Alright. Let's see if we can get an actual full side mission done in one video. By way of apology for 10 minutes of talking about ramen. You jerk! He made me waste one of my fiery shuriken, which are super expensive. So this is going to be a whole level of fighting lots of fairly weak enemies in crowds. I guess this is the mission for people who are like always finding a way to make it one-on-one. And also for people who hate enemies who appear and hit you with ranged stuff while you're trying to fight someone else, which I really hate that. So they're giving you a lot of the gameplay mechanics that can be irritating, but it's a whole level full of gakis, which are this game's weakest enemy, really. So it's kind of like, we'll give you enemies that you should be able to handle in this, even in this situation, as much as you hate this situation. You bitch! I'm trying to finish this guy off here. So I don't care for this enemy type. And I'd really want to finish him off before I concentrate on her. Because now the music is playing, which makes me think she's probably the boss. Could be wrong. More Gakis are appearing, okay. Yeah, you timed that one wrong, lady. She did her little you can't attack spear of ranged. Damn it. Yeah, I don't know how long those guys will continue to appear. Maybe I do need to concentrate on finishing her and not trying to get rid of the distractors. What? Oh, I focused on... Shouldn't have focused on her when I did. Okay. Well, there's only one distractor guy this time. Which I didn't mean to use that on him, but... Got a free out of that because of Ninja Mastery, whatever. Finally got her poisoned. So now she should die on her own. With that little health left, she's poisoned. She's not on fire anymore, but... Okay. And that was the thing to do, is to finish her. The distractor enemies were going to keep respawning. So, okay, I guess we'll find out about this in the post-match wrap-up, but it would make sense. If someone's been stealing children, it would be the ghost of, like one of those ghosts who has like this obsession with their dead baby or... Not unique to Japanese mythology, but like the various cultures have myths related to women who go mad due to the death of a child, and like they think they have a child and they never had a child or something along those lines. But like the image of like an undead woman wandering eternity clutching a rock that she thinks is her baby that's pretty sad. So, oh, there's one of them cat spirits here that I didn't find. Maybe it's just like on the other side of that wall and it was kind of a joke that you can't use it. But I don't want to wander around here too long exploring looking for it because I could still lose the level if I accidentally... There's one or two spots here where you could fall to your death. I would lose the level if I did that now. Yeah, somewhere around here there's one of those cat spirits, or maybe it's something else is going on. Or it's just the sound of the ghost lady's baby was a cat. She's a cat. She's a cat mom who now wanders eternity, sad about her dead cat, I guess. That's sad in a different way. Our emotional attachments to animals matter. I'm not belittling them, but yeah, if you wander all of eternity clutching a stone thinking it's your dead cat, that's a different level of weird.
That's expecting a mere yokai is not much of a challenge for the likes of you. Why, it barely took you as long to beat that level as you spent talking about ramen. Well, that takes care of the culprit behind the disappearances then, although it's still strange that the yokai only targeted children. There's got to be a reason. Anyway, let's just hope this is truly the end of it.
I'm with you, lady. Soul cores are purified and can now be used. Generally, if it doesn't give me chance of recovering my soul, I don't bother. That is like such a quality of life increase in this game. It's so much less stressful than the original Nioh. When there's always the chance that won't tick over, but if you get it up into like the 70-80% range, you can feel like, okay, I can actually do dangerous stuff and not be guaranteed that it's going to blow up in my face. Oh, there's another side mission though. I don't know if this just appeared. The Burning Sky. Well, I was going to jump straight to a story mission, but now we have a side mission. So what I'll do next time is we'll do the Burning Sky, and I won't talk about... Well, I can't promise I won't talk about ramen, because I'm actually going to call it a video now, call in an order, and go get some lunch. So I might talk about whether the ramen is good or not, but I won't talk about whether or not the ramen supports white supremacist ideology. See you guys next time.